Hi, this is Mike Basman live streaming, and I think we'll begin maybe the first half hour. We're going to have a test, and you'll see how good you are, or the reverse. Second, I'll be inviting any of you to challenge me at the chessboard in the second half. That's if we actually have any listeners. Who knows? This is the first one we've done. Maybe some glitches. Now, I want to see if you could have been, or you could be, the world champion. Could you be world champion? You have to believe in yourself. But of course, this is world champion in 1480. And this was the first world championship match. Well, we've named it that way, between Mars and Venus, as the two protagonists were calling themselves. And it was a match that took place in Valencia all those years ago at the dawn of modern chess, because we know the rules of chess were changed about 500 years ago, where we had the strong queen and the strong bishop, and the pawn moving two squares. So this game, I'm going to ask you questions as to what your choices would be, and you'll get points according to the power of your answer. And you will find out whether you could have been world champion, whether you could at least have been a challenger, or whether you are in fact zero. Right, so let's start with the very first move of this game, and White began, surprisingly enough, by moving the pawn from e2 to e4. And Black plays his pawn, or her pawn, because Black was meant to be Venus, up two squares. Right, so our first question is a bit unfair. Perhaps you could name this chess opening. What is the name of this chess opening? Well, many of you will have said the Scandinavian, and that is the Scandinavian defense. That seems to be the recognized name today. So give yourself 6 points if you knew that. Give yourself an extra 4 points if you knew the old name, which was the center counter defense. And now we're going to move on with another important question, which you'll complain is not chess related, but we don't want our chess players just to know chess. So could you say, where is Scandinavia? Question number 2. Well, if you answered that Scandinavia is Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, again, give yourselves 6 points. Well done for general knowledge. If you further answered that maybe it is Finland, the Faroe Islands, and Iceland, maybe, because these matters are under dispute, and possibly may cause wars, who knows, then give yourself an extra 4 points for that knowledge. Because one day you may want to visit Magnus Carlsen and in his World Championship lair, and you want to show him that you know all about his country. Right, let's go on with the actual game, where Black has played the center counter or Scandinavian defense. A very challenging opening, and White captures the pawn. E takes d5, and Black recaptures. Queen takes d5. And this opening in the past had a pretty bad reputation, as you can imagine. But now it's extremely popular. We're not exactly sure why, but possibly not based on philosophy, but more based on results. So chess players often are able to find good moves, but they can't actually explain why they are good. Now, I want you to answer question number 3. What would you play for White in this position? So you've got to choose a move for White. What would you do? So if you chose pawn to c4, where you're trying to attack the queen, but maybe not the best way to attack the queen, but it's a possible move. We'll give you 2 points for that. If you played moves like knight f3 or d4, These are excellent moves. We're going to give you 4 points for these moves. If you actually played pawn to b3, give yourself 1 point for that. It's a good idea. You're maybe trying to get your bishop to c4. I'm only going to give you 1 point because actually you would then get forked by queen e5 check and lose your rook on a1. But at least you thought up a plan. Now, for 6 points, if you chose knight c3, and this gains a tempo on the black queen. This is why the opening had such a bad reputation, because according to the rules of the opening, you shouldn't bring your queen out so early because she'll just end up as a target. So white plays knight c3 in this game as well, and if you chose that move, you clearly know the rules of the opening, and you played the knight there because you gain what is called a tempo. You gain time. Time in chess is measured by moves, and the opening is a race to get your pieces into action as soon as possible, getting them out of the dressing room or out of their tents onto the battlefield. Now, the next question, which I believe is question number 4, is what move would you play for black in this position? So clearly the queen has to protect herself. She's got to move to a safe square. I'm afraid if you played queen to c6, you would actually score 0. It does make her safe, but it loses the queen because of the tactical move bishop to b5. So at least you saw the queen was in danger, but tactically you have fallen short because of overlooking the tactical move bishop b5 with the pin of the queen against the king. Now many beginners would think about checking queen e5 check or queen e6 check. A queen e5 check actually has got something to be said for it. Strangely enough, normally we would have said queen e5 check is a bad move because white can put the bishop in on e2, blocking the check, and then white is just being encouraged to castle. Queen e6 check. So queen e5 check, we're going to give you 2 points for that. Only 1 for queen e6 check because the queen on e6 would block the bishop at c8. So let's look at the other moves. We're going to give you 6 points. That's the top score if you chose queen a5. That's always been the most popular move because you shuttle the queen to the edge of the board where she's safer than she would be in the middle. In the middle, of course, she's more powerful, but she's more exposed. So queen a5 will get you 6 points. Now this is where we get the arguments in chess, because the Grandmaster, I believe the Grandmaster's name is Tiviakov, Russian Grandmaster, now domiciled in Holland. He's had great success with queen d6, which seems to put the queen in a somewhat exposed place in the middle. But don't forget, the queen is the most powerful, the most agile piece. And so he's shown that this move can have success. I believe the American international master Bartholomew has suggested queen d8, and I think there's even a video that he's produced. I would, or if you played queen d6, let's give you 6 points in respect to Tiviakov. If you chose queen d8, we're going to give you just 4 points. In my opinion, this is a poor move because the rules of the opening say you've got to castle, you've got to connect the rooks, and if you're trying to actually connect the rooks on the back row, you want to get all the pieces off the back row. So what's the queen doing on the back row in the way? You're going to have to move it again. So anyway, if you believe queen d8 is a good move, play it and maybe see what Mr. Bartholomew has got to justify it. Okay, let's move on with the game where black actually doesn't play queen a5 or even queen d6. He scuttles straight back to d8 with the queen. Or she, again, this is Venus playing. Though Venus is in this game represented by actually a man. It was played in 1480, so I don't know the reasons for that decision. Okay, now we go on with the game, and let's make a few more moves. We'll start, it's White's move, so White's next move was to move the bishop to c4. Black's next move is to move the knight to f6. And then White's following move is bringing his knight out to f3. And we can see we're following the rules of the opening, both sides, which of course, if you look at my book, Beginner to Winner in 2 months, which I modestly state is the best beginner's book ever written, though as so few people have ever read it, maybe only a few thousand, instead of what should have been a few million. You may be unaware of this book, but it is on my website. So I think the website is mikebasmanchess.com. Anyway, so the rules of the opening: move each piece once, knights and bishops out near the center. These are rules 2 and 3. And it looks like the players are following these rules, except Black, of course, had a diversion, bringing his queen out and then back. Right, so far this game has got the elements of normality, because it's fascinating for us to see the chess rules have changed. What sort of chess did they play at the dawn of modern chess? This is wonderful material for us. Now let's see what Black's next move is. It's moving his bishop to g4. And my next question to you is, what is your opinion? What is your opinion of this move? I'll give you time to think about it, and you can always pause this. You can't actually, because we're live streaming, but if we kind of have a record of it, you might be able to pause. Meanwhile, we've got to move on, so you've got to give me opinion. Is it a good move or bad? If you thought it was a good move because it was, say, developing a bishop, developing another piece, pinning the knight, this looks like a good idea, then give yourself 4 points. If, however, you knew it was a bad move, you have extra knowledge, you are an advanced player, you are a tactician, so you would probably have read Two Birds with One Stone or seen this position. Two Birds with One Stone is the basic book on tactics written by those marvelous chess teachers, Bob Wade, Ray Bott and Stanley Morrison. These were teachers of schools. Bob Wade, as you know, was an international chess master who came from New Zealand and settled down in England, and he taught a whole generation of useless English people and turned them into masters and grandmasters, one of whom was me, and others would have been people like Ray Keane, Bill Hartston, and then all the subsequent generation, Steen and Spielman, Nigel Short, the ones that propelled England to the pinnacle of the World Championship in 1993, when Nigel Short challenged Kasparov for the World Championship. But we have our own World Championship here, and we're going to see if you can become a world champion. Anyway, that book, Two Birds with One Stone, the basic tactical book, wonderful masterpiece by Bob Wade and his friends, that is also available on mikebasmanchess.com. And of course, if you go to page 3, puzzle number 6 on the Knight Fork, you will see this very position. I've no idea if Bob Wade set it up because he knew about the very first game of chess ever played or ever recorded. Who knows? But do you know it? So give yourself 10 points if you said this is a bad move. And why? Because White can sacrifice spectacularly and wreck the Black position. Yes, we find this destructive move, bishop takes f7 check. I'm not going to make this on the board because I am a little ill-versed in the movement of these things. You know, I'm used to moving pieces on a chessboard. Yeah, this is my hook-a-book chess set or flat chess set, this is normal chess. But anyway, we got to get with the technology, haven't we? So bishop takes. You're going to have to follow this in your heads. Bishop takes f7 check. King takes bishop. So that's the first shattering blow. The setup move, which is either going to be a check, a capture, a sacrifice, or a threat. And it disrupts the black position. Black king's on f7. Out comes the knight. Knight moves to e5 check. Did you spot that move? This is a brilliant move because you've been able to break the pin. The bishop is no longer able, well, the knight is no longer pinned. The bishop can't take the queen because he's in check. So we've been able to break the pin, checking the king. Black king has to get out of check. He runs back into cover. King back to e8, and then we activate the focused attack. Of course, that word focused attack, you will actually find it is not mentioned in any chess books, except the one I wrote called How to Play Like an Alien or UFOs. But the focused attack is a fundamental concept in chess. Do you see the white knight at e5? Do you see the white queen at d1? Yeah, they're both focusing on the bishop at g4. Therefore, white can win a pawn by playing knight takes g4. Black plays knight takes g4. And white plays queen takes g4. At the end of that, white is a pawn ahead. Now, I wonder if I'll be able to make those moves on the board just to demonstrate it. So let's try. Bishop takes f7 check. Wow, done it. King takes on f7. Knight goes to e5 check. Okay, let's just sit back and admire the position. This is a knight fork. And it's a knight fork because the bishop at g4 is now inadequately defended. King has to move back to e8. And now we can operate, or we can try to operate. Knight takes g4. Black captures. And then white captures. Oops, almost. White still trying to capture. No, he's done. No. Right, sorry. Why did I get stuck? So try again. Good. Okay. So we've got to that position. As you can see, white's a pawn ahead. Pawn doesn't seem much. But could you tell me this is another question. What is another substantial advantage that white has in this position? This again will tell us whether you are world champion material. Yeah, the other substantial advantage is that black cannot castle. And this was an interesting introduction in modern chess, the rule of castling. It enabled you to get your rook into action and your king into safety. But black is denied that opportunity. Black cannot. His king is going to be stuck in the middle for quite a long time, which gives white great attacking chances. So if you said the other advantage white has is that black cannot castle, again, give yourself 6 points, because you are showing us that you understand the elements of chess. So one pawn up, but another big advantage. Now I'm going to ask you a supplementary question. How would you continue this game for white? You've got this advantage. You've got the extra pawn. You've got the king stuck in the middle. What would be your plan for the next 5 moves, say, if you were white? Well, what you need to do is to continue developing. A beginner will just keep moving around the pieces he has on the board, the queen and the knight. But the experienced player will make sure he kind of consolidates and brings the army into action before making the next round of assault. Meanwhile, black will be hampered because his king will still be an easy target. So if you said, I would play something like castles, d4, move my bishop out to g5, move my rook across to d1, that's the queen's rook, rook on f1, put on the open file on e1, preparatory for the attack, then give yourself 6 points, because again, you have an understanding of chess denied to 90% of the population. There's a lot of people who consider they play chess have actually not really the faintest idea about these concepts. But if you have these ideas, you are already an advanced player. So now we need to retract. And so I'm going to ask the machine to retract by, I think, pressing the button which goes backwards. And then I press it again, and it goes backwards again. And I press it again, and again, and again, and again. Miracle, we are back in our initial position. So very interesting moment here. White had the opportunity to gain their advantage in this 1480 game. I say 1480, but nobody actually knows when it was played. Probably between 1475 and 1506. We know it wasn't after 1506 because one of the players died in that year. But so I've just made a stab at 1480. Right, so in this game, these players who unfortunately had not read the book Two Birds with One Stone, possibly because it hadn't been written for 450 years, but is that an excuse after all? They're meant to be representing Mars and Venus, so the gods should know this stuff. But anyway, let's not nitpick. This actually did not happen, so this already gives us an idea that maybe these players probably weren't stronger than about what we would call club level, because I think every club player would have known, would know this kind of this elementary combination. It may seem advanced to some of the players watching this video, but as a club player, one would expect the club player to have that basic tactics. So let's continue with the game, and both sides have missed this possibility, and the game continued for white by moving the pawn up to h3, attacking the bishop. Now I'm going to ask you a tricky question. Would you take the knight on f3 with your bishop, or would you retreat the bishop possibly to h5 or to f5? So what would be your choice? Bishop takes f3, taking the knight, kind of swapping the bishop off for the knight, or retreating the bishop to the h5 square, or keeping the pin on, or possibly to the f5 square. So I wonder what choice you made. Some people would have taken the knight because they just want to get on with the game, and they might have not wanted to retreat the bishop because they think white's going to attack the bishop again with pawn to g4. In fact, I think I'm going to use my new skills by retreating the bishop to h5 and then moving the pawn up. Oh dear, wait a minute, I've got to, sorry, right, okay, try again, try and get up to oh, where's he gone? g4, yes, and then the bishop goes to g6, right, and then they'll say, oh, the bishop's been driven around. Yeah, that's fair enough, but actually there is a disadvantage for white in that position. Yes, he's driven the bishop back, but then he might have weakened the pawns around his king. Don't forget, white's more likely to castle on the king's side, and once you castle the king's side, you wouldn't move the pawns up in front of your king. So therefore, retreating the bishop, even though the bishop can get hit, the bishop may act as a kind of matador to the little white pawns and allowing them to advance. Come on, attack me. You go there, but you can't go back, and then you won't be able to protect your king. So I'm going to give you 4 points if you chose bishop takes f3, but 8 points if you chose bishop h5, because I think anyway in this position the bishop is rather better than the knight. It has greater range. Now let's return to our position, and the computer seems to be doing what I'm telling it to do. So what happened was, we're going to move on with the game, and actually black did play what I think was the inferior move and captured the knight. And I need to ask you a question. Would you take back with the pawn, or would you take back with the queen? So just 2 points if you took back with the pawn. That's what beginners tend to do, because the pawn is the nearest thing to the bishop. They will tend to do that, but of course that will weaken the white king position if he ever castles. And then another thing is what are called doubled and isolated pawns are meant to be a weakness, but we won't go into that. So let's give you 6 points if you chose. I seem to have gone back to Mike Basman chess shop, so I must have pressed something wrong there. Okay, how did that happen? We don't know. Okay, great. Okay. Thank goodness I'm not alone here. Yes, otherwise I could be sitting there wondering what to do. So now black's taken the knight, the queen has taken the bishop. Okay, so it's black's move now. And let's give you a chance to choose a move for black. Choose a move for black. Take your time. Well, this is a very critical position, a very important position, one that is very important to remember. A lot of players would have played the black pawn to e6 or the black pawn to e5 because they're trying to develop, maybe get the bishop out and castle. Some others may have developed the knight to c6, which is a good developing move. If you chose those moves, we'll give you 2 points because you kind of know the rules of development. I think also if you kind of develop by playing your knight from b8 to d7, or you played your pawn up to g6 to get the bishop out, all these moves are worth 2 points. But what you may well have overlooked was the most important feature of this position. The most important feature of the position is the black pawn at b7 is unprotected. Now, if you did not notice this, then you need to stick a notice on your bedroom door. And that notice will remind you that the most important thing is to look for captures in the position. So write in big letters, red letters, letters of gold on a big poster. And so every morning you can see and you can read this message. Every strong player is always on the lookout for unguarded, undefended pieces, his own or his opponent's, because you have to protect your own pieces and capture enemy pieces. So this is often one of the things which distinguishes the beginner from the club player. The beginner will have general rules, maybe of development, but they will not look at a position specifically. So if you actually noticed the pawn at b7 was in danger, and maybe you played queen c8, I would give you 4 points for that, because it's not a great position for the queen. If you played pawn c6, I would give you 6, and also 6 for knight c6, but only if you played knight c6 because you had noticed the b7 pawn was in danger. If you played knight c6 as a developing move, just give yourself 2 points. Well, I can't know what's going on in your brain. It'll just have to be, record of your honesty. What did you actually think of when you played knight c6? And chess players, we know what distinguishes chess players, the chess mind, from the ordinary mind, is this ability to be honest. So chess players' honesty is legendary. They may have other defects, but certainly they are intellectually the most honest people in the world. So 6 points, well done if you played c6 or knight c6, if you did it for the right reasons. Well, I think, we'll just play, we'll play one more move of the game and then we'll stop. Black actually played pawn to e6. And we can see from that probably black was at the beginner level. We're not sure of the standard of white. White's played pretty well so far, but white did not know that little combination. So white, we could say, maybe is club player. So if you manage to get to the World Championship standard, then that would show you're at least a club player. Now we'll move on to the next part of the live streaming. Yeah. So in this part, people can contact me and then we might have a game of chess. But I suppose we're dependent on anybody communicating and offering their services to be a punch bag, unless they happen to be a grandmaster. So play. We seem to have a 10-minute game. So you can have white, whoever you are. Oh, it's random. So, oh, it looks like I'm white. It says Mike Basman versus Regis Fanny. Yeah, okay. Oh, draw? Or should I make the first move?
Yeah.
Well, I better do something good. Yeah, I don't want to disgrace myself. So we'll start with g4. Oh, somebody is there. Okay. Please do not use your computers on me. I could not stand the humiliation. e5, fantastic. Okay. The man has no fear. Oh, c5. How many pawns are you going to move? All 8 of them? Or are you going to stick to 3? Okay, let's hit him where it hurts. Pawn up to c4. Silence. Has he resigned? Nope. Aha, good move. Yep. Okay, we're going to play solidify the center. Now the tricky bit. We've got too many pieces, too few squares, but we'll just do something normal. Knight d2. So my opponent is Reza Fari. f5. Right, that leads to problems. Okay. We don't know what to do, but we'll have to do something. Let's take the pawn. Yep. And now, okay, occupy the center. Right, good move, challenging the center. Okay, let's challenge the bishop. Okay, time to develop a knight. Yep. What will happen? Bishop d6, another great move, I think. We feel uncomfortable here, so let's attack the bishop. Right, okay, well, got to do something. He's castled, excellent move. Difficult decision now. Yep, okay, we will just play knight takes the bishop. Right, okay, should we get aggressive? Try rook to g1. Don't know what's going to happen now. Bishop g6. Yeah, that's a good move. I think we're going to develop our bishop to, whoops, yes, we have. Bishop gone to g5. It's one of the scary moments in chess, where everything goes wrong. Nope, he's just played an excellent move. Putting pressure on my e4 square. So, shall we just... is he going to play that? How many has he got on it? Not quite enough. Okay, we'll play our queen up to d2. Still a very close encounter here. He has moved up to e4. Right. True. Well, oh, how much time have I got? I don't know, 6 minutes. Okay, yes, it says now. Yep, okay. Right, did we overlook this? I think we might have overlooked it. Right, okay, we'll take the knight on f6. Yeah. Maybe this was a mistake. I've just noticed. Horrible move. Right, okay. Yeah. Right, it's still getting worse. I got my pawn on f2 in danger, so I'll have to just castle quickly. Yep. And hope for the best. I thought actually black might have caned me last move, but he didn't. Let's see what he's going to do now. Okay, queen takes f2. My knight is in peril. No, I'm not going to move my king. I'm moving my knight. Oops. Move the knight to e4. I can always claim that I lost because I'm not used to moving these pieces. I've got my alibis up and running if this goes wrong. Well, it could have been worse, couldn't it? Yep. Could have been a lot worse. I'm not telling you my plan of attack, but as I say, it could have been worse, but I guess there's some chances for white in this position. However, this is war. One doesn't announce one's plans to the enemy. That sounds elementary strategy. Of course, if you're Carlsen, it doesn't matter what you tell the opponent, you're going to win anyway. I haven't got that. Oops, good move. Right, okay. Let's hit him again. Yeah, with the rook coming up to here. Maybe it wasn't the greatest, but because I've just seen he has a chance. Pity. Right, okay, that was regrettable because my plan isn't going to work. So I will have to play, my plan was something else. I have to play my rook to g1. So it looks reasonable, this position now, but no more than that. I think black has got quite a lot of good defensive moves here. G6. Now, can we try something here? Maybe not, but we can try. Well, let's try a sacrifice. See what happens. Nope, don't want to do that. How do we take it back? What? You can't take it back? No, I want to take it back. I'm going to play bishop takes g6. I beg of my opponent, allow me to take move. What? Right. Okay. Well, yeah, this is why, of course, this form of chess should be abolished, you know. So I'm just going to have to swindle. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, swindle time. A piece down. Queen e3. Yep, he is motoring. Whoops. How do we get out of this? Oh, wait a minute. How do we get out of this? Right, queen to e3. Another great move. Well, I can't really see anything decent here. Let's play we could, I guess, resign. How many? What's the time? 3 minutes. Well, let's see if he can actually win one game. Yep, we're going to move our queen to somewhere. This should be. There should be chicken feed to him. Yep, definitely chicken feed. Queen takes c2. Okay, we're just going to move the queen back to c1. Well, I'm well known for saving lost positions, but few of them have been this bad. So now we could always pray to God. Now, what's he up to now? Oh, Benedetto. He's not going to try that cheap shot on me, is he? Oh, no. Well, okay. Let's just retreat here. We can always offer a draw. Can't take it back. Ridiculous. This is scandal. This is, this is the law of the jungle. This is not chess. Rook e6. Right. Is he trying to torture me? Okay. Go away. Of course, you might notice I'm not even threatening to take the knight, am I? Such a humiliation. I'll never live this down. My first. Oh, right. No, has he got a threat? Possibly. Got lots of threats. Oh dear. Let's start crying. Wait a minute. Come on, there must be something we can do. How much time? 2 minutes. Bags of time. It's going to be easy to save this game. Nope, that won't work. Nothing works. Well, okay, let's try something. Ah! Can't take that one back either. That was going to be rook d2. No, they don't call me Shamble Maniac for nothing. I think he spotted my slight mistake. Okay, well, still we've at least got his queen on a vulnerable square. Oh shit! Okay. I think we need a little bit more practice on the chess. Okay. I think I will resign this game. Right. Yes. Okay. Well, thanks for that. Was instructive. I certainly met my match there. So well played. So it looks like my rating has plummeted 10,000 points. Mistakes, blunders. Yep. Okay. Right. Well, it's looking good until slight error. Shall we try another? Yes. Okay. Do I get the right to take moves back? One should have the right to play moves back. Okay. Right. So who's white? What, the same guy? Nope. Well, that's right. Red game over. So have we got another opponent, or have we got the same one? I don't know. So we kind of need a new game. So I got to, in a gentlemanly way, congratulate my opponent on a great effort. Yeah, so well done. No hard feelings. What's this? Oh, this is Kathleen with a grade of 8,242. It says 8. Oh no, actually. So I'm black this time. Okay. Okay, shall we try and do something a bit outre, you know? Something maybe you've never seen before, you know? Premature occupation of the center, as we know. So here, another mistake, yeah? But I'm giving my opponent a chance, you see, by making all these weak moves, occupying the center prematurely. Oh, bishop c4, right? Interesting move. I would say, you know, it would be good, Kathleen, if you took lessons from maybe the world's greatest chess teacher, which is, I modestly will not mention his name, but uh, but you can probably guess who he is, and possibly it could be of assistance. Now, good move, making sure the bishop is happy. So now, I suppose I've rectified some of my earlier mistakes by kind of developing on the wing in this part of the game. Now is tricky moment. Yes, let's do something called developing. Yeah. Oops. Now wait a minute. At least at this part of the game, I can't lose anything by pressing the wrong button. Right, excellent. Castled. Right, now I think we should. This is the only good move. c7. But what happens next? I think at least we know where the white king is and where he's going to be for a long time. Whereas you don't know where the black king is, do you? He could be in the middle. He could be on the queen side. He could be on the king side. This is the famous flexi king. Right, bishop there. Okay. Maybe we'll start. Yeah, okay. Another developing move. Okay. Oh, come on. Done it. Right. Right. Now we've got to start. Okay, the route. Yes. Right. Now it's game over. But bishop going back into security. Tricky moment here. Okay, let's just play aggressive. Right. Fine move. Yep. Well, clear what to do now. I know. Let's do something annoying. Ah! Okay, I want to take that route back. Okay, well, at least it didn't lose a piece like the last time. Yeah? Right. Just wrecks my plan, doesn't it? Okay, so let's just, okay, we'll be careful with this one. It took an right. Okay, now we want to knight. Yeah, I think the problem is usually it's with rooks and bishops and queens. Because you can move them along via rank or via file, and then you don't quite get to the right square. With a knight, though, of course, you probably don't have finger slips. That's my theory. Oh, that's a good move. Okay, let's just take that one. Huh? It's looking a bit strange, this position. Fine move by white. Okay, now let's, I think we better avoid disaster here. Let's bring the knight into there. Right. Does this have any chances? Probably not. Hey, maybe. Very fine move. I guess I could possibly win a pawn here. Try that. Yeah, I think we should try winning a pawn. Okay, now is the bishop going to get to the right square, or is the bishop going to land on d5? Now everybody is waiting with bated breath. How far is the bishop going to get? Is it going to get to e4, or is it going to get to... It did it. I didn't lose a piece. What a relief. Okay. Could have gone so wrong. Right. It could have gone to d5. Right. Now, what next? Rook c1. Right. Now, my queen is in danger. Shall I move her up the board? No. There's no... Now, I've got to find a square where she can't be taken. Right. Still got my queen. Ah, right. Excellent. Yeah, now I can't. I've got to take back with the knight. Pity. Looks like I'm not going to get a checkmate. So the game could end in disaster. Pardon? I mean, take the bishop and then take the knight. Mainly because I didn't see it. Right? Because now I think she has a strong move. Or he. No, it's she. She says so. She's Catholic, but right. Maybe she isn't actually Catholic. Right. Good move. Fine move. The only thing I can see is just to... Now, are there any bad squares? I could take the pawn on b2, but we don't want to be greedy. So let's move the queen up to there, which is b7. Maybe we can play bishop g2, bishop h3, and then checkmate our unsuspecting opponent. But I don't think she'll be so naive. Right, so black still has some problems here because his king is in the middle. He's in a little fortress there, but of course he'll never feel entirely safe until he castles. But then he's not going to feel safe even when he castles, because of course he's compromised his castle position. So okay, white has now played f4, and I think we better take that. And white white's played the bishop there, and white could start to get some play here. Yeah, because black, well, let's play the knight to g6, because he was actually threatening to take my knight, wasn't he or she? Well, at least the knight is safe on that screen. I haven't lost anything yet. No finger slips. Well done, me. What's going to happen? Rook c7. Okay. Well, it doesn't seem to be dangerous. Don't think the rook's threatening anything, is it? Shall I take rook with the queen? No, I think maybe I'll just take the bishop. Wait a minute. Take the bishop. That could be a... Oh no, I've lost my queen. I didn't notice the rook was threatening the queen. Still. Well, once again, I'm blowing to take my queen. Shall I resign? I'll just give it a check. Okay, let's try a check. Okay, let's try a check. Hey, wait a minute. Phew, that was so lucky. I think I've won. I've won. I don't know how that happened. Once again, total lost position. But anyway, you see, I was in David Levy's book. He said I was the world's greatest swindler. I've forgotten what the book was called, but look it up. Even I swindled him, but he wouldn't put that swindle in where I lost my queen against him. But he did show all my other swindles except that one. So anyway, this is just another swindle. Great, so to add to my collection. Thank you very much. Maybe see you next week.